Welcome back everyone, this is Shane. Video number 5 in our Google Spreadsheet series. Today we're going to pick up where we left off on our Budget 101 spreadsheet. If you are following along, you'll remember that we created an income section. We also created an expense section. But if you really think about how you spend money each month, you'll realize that this budget spreadsheet is still not complete. And what I want to do today is I want to add a new section for what I call variable expense. What I want to do is we'll rename this to fixed expense. These are my bills that I know don't change very much month to month. We'll just call these fixed expense. Now I want to create some space. So what I want to do is I want to insert a couple of columns in my spreadsheet. How do we do that? Actually, there's two ways I could do this. First of all, I could simply highlight this section and mouse over the corner or the edge of the selection and drag this over. That works just fine. It also maintains the integrity of our formulas. But let's go back and let's actually do it another way. Also, another way I can insert two columns is simply select column F and right click and say insert one right. That puts one in there to the right. Now I can do this, repeat the same thing with column G, insert one right, and now we have our two. Actually, I need to go one more, don't I? Insert one right, and there we go. So now I have a new section here where I can insert our variable expense. So I'm going to select this section here. I've already formatted it the way I like. I'm simply going to select the selection and press Control C. That's copy. And I'm going to come to column G, row 2, and select Control V. And that will paste exactly what I copied. Now I want to shrink up column F, and to do that I can just place my mouse cursor between F and G and notice how it changes. Once it changes, I can simply hold the mouse button down and drag to the left. And I want to try and get it very similar to column C. Release, and there we go. It looks pretty good. Now I do want to rename this cell here, and we'll call this variable expense. And it's cut off. Why is it cut off? Well, it doesn't fit in the cell, so we simply double click between G and H, and that'll widen out that column so that this word is easily readable. Now I want to get rid of these items here in this list. These are no longer my variable expense. Also, I notice here column H is not quite wide enough. We'll double click on that. There we go. Widen that out. And so I'm looking through my fixed expense, and I realize that I do have a bill here, my Visa bill. It does vary from month to month. It's not a fixed expense. So I want to move that over here, Visa, and we'll stay on average. I do pay $125 a month. So we'll plug that in there. Notice that our monthly total updates here. And by the way, let's update these total categories, these total labels rather. We'll call this fixed total, and we'll call this variable, if I can spell, variable total. There we go. And so I want to get rid of Visa here. Now that I've moved it over, I can just delete that. So we got power, internet, water, cell phone, student loan, mortgage, insurance, Netflix, cable, car loan we got rid of. We paid that thing off in the last tutorial. Let's make this neat. Let's just grab this and move this section up a little bit. There we go. So now let's come in here and add our variable expenses. And Visa is one of my variable. Other variable is fuel for my vehicle. Also dining out. We all like to go out to eat, don't we? What else is variable? What else varies from month to month? Entertainment. Groceries / food, however you want to categorize that. You could also make it separate entries if you wanted to. What I like to call is household household goods. We go to Walmart quite often, and that's variable. So now I can, on average, I can go back and look at my bills and realize that on average I probably spend about, I don't know, $180 a month on fuel for my vehicle. We try to stay under $300 a month on dining out. Our entertainment budget is around $75 a month, and our groceries are around $600. Family of 3.5, and our household goods are about, I would say, roughly 75 a month. That's about 300, or 75 a week. That's about 300 a month. So now we can see that we have two sections, and if you want to, you can, let's change the coloring just slightly here. These are still expenses, but we'll make these orange just to change it up a little bit. And there we go, make that stand out. And now I do want to change up my balance over here. This looks pretty good, but I do want to change up my balance. Let's come back over here and let's change this to, I'm sorry, here we'll change this to fixed expense, and we'll come down here and add one called fixed, or I'm sorry, variable expense. And let's update our formulas here. This equals this. We don't have to mess with this one. This, if I press F2, by the way, notice it's kind of hard to see because I have it colored, but when I press F2 it automatically highlights what this points to, and it's pointing to cell E17. So that's good. Let's look at this one. If I press F2 here, it points to B11, and as you can see over here, it puts a marquee around the cell that it points to. So now let's come in here to variable expense, and we'll say this equals, guess what it equals? It equals H17. So I'll press enter, and you're saying, wait a second, the balance didn't update. Why didn't the balance not update? Well, again, if I press F2, you're going to see that F2 is simply K2 minus K3. So my formula is not quite right. We haven't taken in our new addition called variable expense. And to do that, I can do it multiple ways. I'm going to first show you. I'm just simply going to edit this and say minus K4 or K4. Press enter. That will update our balance. I can also press F2, and I can come back and let's erase K3 and 4, and we're going to say the balance equals K2 minus parentheses, I'm sorry, not parentheses, minus the sum, open parentheses, of K3 and K4. And I drug down, and so we created a range called K3 to K4. We'll close parentheses, and we'll enter, and we get our new balance. So there we go. Our budget 101 is coming along. We now have three sections. We have our income section. We have our bills that are fixed each month. They don't vary from month to month. They're pretty much locked in. And we have our variable expenses. These are things that do fluctuate from time to time. But for a budget, we can determine what we spend on average, and we can place this in here. And as we go through more tutorials, we're going to actually create a spreadsheet where we can actually plug in our actual amounts and then go back and compare it to our budget. And that will truly tell us how well we're spending our money compared to our budget. Alright guys, it's 11 minutes in. That's my limit. Thanks for watching today, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I sure appreciate the comments, and thank you for watching today. Take care. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 3.